Today, I'd like to talk about managing pressure on group rides. This was the ride theme for a couple of our skills and drills rides this season, and I got to have some great conversations with the participants on the pedal up. Thoughts that I really think are worth sharing with a broader audience. So here we are. So we're going to start by talking about the symptom here, which is really that pressure we may feel when we're out on group rides. This usually shows up as feelings of nervousness, anxiety, unease, and usually leads to us having kind of a heightened nervous system and physiologically getting stiff, getting shaky, aka some pretty poor performance on the bike. And the outcome of these feelings, poor performance on the bike, often leads to feelings of anger, frustration, maybe even regret about how we're riding. And these feelings can lead to some pretty self-defeating and loathing behaviors, maybe talking down to ourselves, beating ourselves up, just generally being very passive in our language. I'll often hear sentences like, "Oh man, I just suck compared to everyone else on this ride. I just can't do it today. My head's just not in the game." Right? And I will just say that it is completely okay to feel this way. If you've ever felt this way on a ride, it's completely okay to have this experience. Let's dial into the root cause here. Often allowing our focus, allowing our energy to get stuck, thinking about things that are outside of our realm of control, this is the root cause of this pressure we feel. So the answer to eliminating this pressure and getting to a place that you can ride feeling like you're in control, feeling like you're at ease, you're having fun, no matter which group you're with, the feeling lies in bringing that focus back to controlling the controllable, to focusing on things that are inside that realm of control. Increased feelings of being in control generally leads to less anxiety, and less anxiety means we're able to focus in the present on how we're actually riding, which usually leads to those better levels of performance that we're chasing. So, what can you control? Firstly, you. Number one, right? We can control ourselves. So you can set yourself up for success by doing all the things we know proven to lower that baseline stress threshold before we go out for a ride. Think getting a good night's rest, reducing or eliminating alcohol consumption, reducing caffeine, eating healthy, having a nutritious meal before our ride, and maybe practicing some mindfulness too. Things like meditation, breath work, yoga are all great practices. As well as that, I find it really useful to get my bike and my equipment all ready ahead of time, doing a bike check, making sure my settings are dialed. That way, I don't have to run around and stress in the morning before the ride. As well as this, taking just a couple of minutes to go through that mental skills journal format that I teach to all of my clients can really help us set a positive intention for the ride, come up with a plan, and get us focused before the ride. But as well as that, it'll also give you some power words to use to refocus when some of that inevitable mental interference might come up during the ride. From there, I find it really helpful to check in with some of my riding buddies before the ride, just to get a bit of an idea of like, what's the vibe of this ride? What am I getting myself into? What trails are we thinking of riding? Where are we thinking of going? Who are some of the other people that are going to be joining us? You could ask questions like, are we thinking about doing top to bottom DH laps here? Or are we chilling? Are we maybe wanting to stop at some particular features or ride particular trails? Does anyone in the group have any particular goals they're looking to tick off that day? All of the answers to these questions really help me paint a picture of what the day is going to look like, what's the ride's going to look like, and help me prepare physically and mentally for the ride ahead. So then we get to ride time. During the ride, at the start of the ride, I usually try and get to know who I'm riding with, especially if you're riding with a new crew or even just a couple of members you haven't been out on a ride with before. So just trying to get a sense of who they are, what they're looking to ride, what their skills and past experience level is like, and whether their intention aligns with yours, whether that aligns with your idea of a fun time or not. Because there's always opportunities to perhaps change your ride route if the rest of the group's intentions doesn't align with yours. And it's always going to be easier to make these changes before you get out onto the trails compared to afterwards. From there, I like to be completely open with the group about how I'm feeling and about any preferences that I may have for the ride. For example, often say things like, hey guys, not feeling super sandy today, or not a huge fan of riding steep trails blind. Is it okay if you leave me a little extra space? Or do you mind if I just cruise at the back while we get warmed up here? I'd really appreciate it if you could stop and let me know about any intersections or any technical features I should know about. But otherwise, feel free just to ride at your own pace. No need to wait for me. I'll ride at my own pace and I'll see you at the bottom. Or sometimes I'll feel fine to lead. Often I'll say, I'm happy to lead this one. Please just give me a little extra space. I'm not super familiar with this trail, or I'm not feeling super sandy today. Another good one is, I'm not 100% sure I'll hit all the features all the way down. Does anyone else want to go around me? Nope. All good then. Just leave me a little extra space. Can you see what we're doing here?
We gotta take the power back! We gotta take the power back! Come on! Come on!
Exactly. In the wise words of Rage Against the Machine, we're taking that power back. We're shifting our focus, shifting our energy back to the things at which we can control. This removes layer upon layer upon layer of uncertainty, and also allows the other people in your group to get a bit of an idea of how you're feeling so that they can act accordingly and they have the opportunity to support you as well. From there, if some a-hole still feels the need to buzz your back tire and not give you any space that you deserve, that's on them. That's 100% their fault that they're getting held up. You gave them every opportunity to go ahead or ask them to leave extra space. So that's on them. Usually when this happens to me, it can be a little bit intimidating, for sure. So I'll try and go back to those power words I wrote in my journal and zone in to what I'm doing, how I'm riding, get back to the present, block them out, because at this point, they don't matter to me. All that matters is that I ride safely and I get back to my intention for the ride. After the ride, anyone that's worked with me will know I'm a huge believer in that post-ride reflection and projection. So I'm always thinking about, hey, what went well in today's ride? I did this well, I did that well, this was really cool. Next ride, I'd like to keep working on X. So this can be done on that personal level in your mental skills journal, but it can also be done in a bit more of a casual format with the whole group. Hey guys, this was sick today. I really liked when this happened. What were your favorite moments from the ride? Yeah, sweet. Next time it would make it, a little bit better for me. I think one thing we can all keep working on as a group is perhaps, stopping to look at more features on the way down, or maybe it's perhaps keep the ride flowing a little bit more. One thing I think we could all keep working on as a group that would be really cool and would really help me is if we didn't voice out loud all the things that could go wrong every time we stop at a feature. That'd be really cool. Or today was an awesome ride. Really like how we're all encouraging each other, cheering each other on. But I'd love if we could just leave each other with just a little bit more space, because I honestly felt like I couldn't stop at all on today's trail. And there's some features that I really would have liked to stop and look at before I hit. Cheers, team. That's all for today. I trust this tutorial has been useful. If there were any particular points that really resonated, really hit home for you, or anything I've missed that you'd like to add in addition to this video, please leave me a comment down below. Cheers, guys.